Otherwise, it's just
Whoa.
Hi everybody, welcome to episode 215 of Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home. We get to celebrate, Mike, a huge... Hey, I think we're almost wearing matching sweaters. We have, we just have
Yours
different...
is Red Wing red. Mine is, it's what they call heathered red.
That one is cardinal heathered. One of the many reasons we left our old shop and found our new one at bodpodcast.com. It's the shop button on the homepage. We have an actual shirt making company making our stuff now. So if you guys want to support the show, head on over there. You can get
I don't know what we were thinking with that old pants making company making shirts, but now we got a real shirt making company making ours.
I mean, this is it. This is actually a great advertisement. If you guys are watching on YouTube, the upgrade we did for our shirts. Mike's wearing the old stuff. Looks like he's in
a good job. I look great in this shirt. I don't know
he's in like an old-timey grainy photo. And then Matt is in his beautiful Red Wings red.
You know what? Some of us like Charlie Chaplin movies, all right? We're not all about Jim Carrey and look at all my loud colors. Brennis. Good evening.
Shout out, Brennis is here. Fethtar is here.
Fethtar, my dude.
Here.
Chewy.
Woo! All of our boys. What's going on, boys?
Brennis, just because of that icon, your thumbnail, just let me know. Are you playing Elden Ring? Just let me know how it is.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that icon is. I know we talked about Elden Ring.
It looks vaguely Elden Ringy, so I'm hoping that he can weigh in. Performance art. Hola, good friend.
What's going on, my man? All right. So, Mike, we have a couple of topics today. We open the show, of course, with the Mojo show. Lucas Raymond thrown in. Mike, he threw in a swear. He swore.
Is he old enough to do that?
I don't think he's old enough to swear yet.
Does his dad, Jeff, know about that?
It's Papa Larks, actually.
Papa Larks.
Yeah. Chewy wants to let us know he's got his hoodie going today too. Chewy, my man,
my dude.
Yeah, we gotta get some photos of that to show that actual people besides us wear our swag.
Oh, I disagree. I mean, Kanye wears his own T-shirts all the time.
Well, just like Kanye West. We can wear them.
We're just like Northwest Steady. Woo!
Right, but you can't. Like, we're allowed to wear it. That's like, doing that weird equation of like someone can be one thing, but they aren't necessary. I don't know. All right. Well, the Wingdings, we beat Carolina 4-3, Mike. Friend of the show. Just kidding. We have a select group of people who've been on the show that I think had a horrible time. One of them was Prashant Thayer.
He had a great time.
I don't think he had a great time. He said last night was the most complete game by the Detroit Red Wings. I think it was a good game. I don't think it was the most complete game because we saw some lapses, and I mean, clearly there's 3 goals on the board here. I mean, we've had some better turnouts. But no, it was still a great game. I would still say if you want to see what you'd hope Red Wings hockey to look like, not only in the future, but if you were somebody polling for this team to make it to the playoffs, the game they played last night, besides Nedeljkovic's negative turn-in again for goals saved above expected, besides that, you get this game, Mike, for the rest of the season. Yeah, certainly you can count yourself in the playoffs. It's just we know how.
Yeah, I don't want to toot Prashant's horn, too loudly, but it's just that we saw that bare blue butt spanking that we got, compliments of Toronto in the not so recent past, and it's kind of nice to play a good team like Carolina, and kind of go.
You said that I got to call it. You said the not so recent. It was very recent. Yeah, it was very recent.
Yeah, it's especially recent.
Especially recent past.
Yeah, I was going for a little sarcasm there, Matt, but I'm glad you went for the stat check instead. It's actually the last game on the schedule for those of the uninitiated. No, I'm just going for it. Listen, with Prashanth, I think I know what he's going for. We played a good team. We went toe to toe with them, and it. We didn't look overmatched. It was maximum effort, I think, from two teams. One of which is obviously concerned about playoff seeding, and the other one is the Red Wings. So it was kind of nice to kind of get that feeling again as we make this pursuit for competency. But Matt, I can see you got your numbers pulled up. I know what you want to talk about. I think you're eyeballing that expected goals for percentage. Am I wrong?
I was going to say that if Prashanth meant like this was the first time this season that you could watch the Red Wings and say that was 60 minutes. Like if you're talking about like a perfect game, it wasn't that. But if it was about being consistent, you could see, we've had games, Mike, where the expected goals for percentage for a single period is like 90%. If you want to say the Red Wings were consistent for 60 minutes, like this is right down the line. We pretty much hit that 55%. Looking at, we're just a smidgen off. 57% expected goals for in the first period, 52% in the second period, 56.09 in the third period. And of course, we're not tracking overtime because it's not 5-on-5. And those are the numbers that we consider to be most important here. Mike, I mean, that's as consistent as it gets. If you want to talk about a consistent positive output for 3 straight periods, you got it. You did. Can't argue. Yeah. Numbers are right there. And Mike, you went to an overtime game. So clearly even the production output was consistent from the two teams. But to that point, I think if we're going to talk about, like, if we can remove hyperbole out of everything here, we could definitely look at this game and say this is one of the most consistent outputs. You absolutely needed this output to beat a team of Carolina's caliber. And when you are looking to win and you have a small set of, maybe a large set of variables that need to go your way in every single game, and you got to hit the mark on each one. I still say, this wasn't one of those where we had Ned stand on his head and we actually went into the game and said, we probably need that. We didn't get that. What we got is against a team over the last several seasons has ended every season. You could probably take a look at the possession stats of the Carolina Hurricanes over the last several seasons and find them at the top of all the possession statistics. Meaning this has been one of the, at the top of the league, one of the best possession teams, hands down. And you owned them. You owned them last night, and it helped you beat them. And you know what? You could look at the Carolina Hurricanes. They don't have, we saw Mitch Marner kind of have his way with the wingdings. They have a lot of talent on that team. Their leading point scorer, Sebastian Aho, still had some success. But, Aho doesn't strike fear in you the same way Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews do. So it had to be a team effort from Carolina, or they get a team effort to be successful. Clearly, they're top heavy and it rolls on down, but they have some success from all 4 lines. And again, I'm trying to decipher, the meaning behind having the most complete game. I think from top to bottom matchup, matching up the 4 lines, you beat all 4 lines as you go top to bottom in that 5-on-5 game. So that's where I stand impressed. And you didn't have to get Ned standing on his head to get this win. Ned had a very, very average game here. Like, it was just Nedeljkovic existed. He was a goaltender in this game. Good saves. Some goals getting past that. It happened. But I think that may be more important than anything, right? You want to walk away from these games and not keep having to, you don't want to get a win. And the thought on your mind is always, well, good thing Ned was there. We didn't need Ned. And we pointed out in the last episode, those statistics are going in the wrong direction. It continued, Mike, but it's fine. It's fine.
No, I don't just want to say, we didn't really need Ned to stand on his head, but my God, I I mean, outside of that Rangers game, our past couple performances were 10 goals given up against Toronto, 5 against Colorado, 7 against Minnesota. So it was kind of nice to, bottle somebody up, without giving up a touchdown, essentially.
And a field goal.
Yeah. The one thing I was just going to mention, Matt, is I know you're really good on the stats. I want to ask you about the feelings just real quick, and I don't want you to spend a ton of time on this, maybe 30 seconds top. But do you have this weird feeling that we do really well against Carolina? Like, it's as compared to how we perform against other elite teams?
It's funny that you mentioned that because I thought about bringing this up, but as I have this app on my phone called Time Hop, and it tracks everything I've taken screenshots of going back years. And I had a lot of screenshots from Natural Stat Trick from a game against Carolina. And it was sort of the same situation. We had the same situation at the beginning of the season last year. We started with 2 straight games against Carolina, and then we were blowing a load over the fact that we outchanced Carolina. And we were like,
laundry.
Maybe. That's right. A laundry load. And we were like, maybe this is going to be the rest of the season, because I think we were 1-1 at the time, and it went pretty hard and fast downhill at that point. All right, so I've had a full screen going for a second here, Mike. We've had a lot of our buddies showing up. Performance Art is right there with us. My man, Performance Art, we're like, me and you, we're like 50-50, I feel like, on agreeing on
Performance
stuff.
Art, I know you're just a burner account for Matt, so I'm not... I'm not buying any of these comments.
We disagree sometimes. He's on your side, I would say, most of the time. Performance Art, I agree it wasn't the most complete game. He does ask as well, Mike, is Vrana this weekend? Mike,
oh, Performance Art, are you whispering sweet nothings? What are you doing?
We're teasing that for later in the episode. We're going to talk about it.
Are you trying to get me into the back of the ice cream van? Because it's working.
Performance Arts also shipping Mark over to Carolina.
Mark Stahl?
It doesn't hurt me. Yeah.
Yeah. I would like
Chewy's
be kind of surprised.
I hope so.
I would honestly be surprised if the Red Wings shipped out Mark. I think they've really taken a liking to him. His play is. I'm going to use the word not good, not bad. It's adequate for what you would expect of about a 35-year-old defenseman.
The value on the dollar is.
I wasn't finished, Matt. His contract is what they really adore. So, I mean, they'd have to be blowing another load of laundry all over the place by the deal that gets offered. Just socks and towels all over the place. Big, white, fluffy towels and socks all over the place by that offer. I'd be surprised.
All right. First, quick shout out, Derek Hand. You're the man. He said,
Derek Hand.
Don't forget to like the video.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Derek. I appreciate you throwing that in the comments. Yeah, guys, if you could like that. We also, we save this to the end of the episode. Maybe one of these days we should throw it out in the middle. If you subscribe, rate, and review Apple Podcasts, give us a like on Spotify. Like, our listenership doubles every time you guys do it.
It went from 2 to 4. It's fantastic.
It was fantastic. More laundry loads all over the place.
Yeah.
Craig coming in. Mike, I didn't even think to throw this in the stats, or I'm sorry, in the notes. That's not a statistic. I didn't think to throw this in the notes. Craig McDonald points out, great bounce back game. That's huge. And to think too, I mean, we had a bounce back period, and clearly the momentum of the third period did not die out going into the next game because they just kept playing hard. We went back to trying to decipher what Jeff was trying to talk about in his post-game press conference against the Maple Leafs. Unfortunately, I wasn't consistent. I didn't pull all the lines from a victory. I'm sure it was just kind of like, I kind of liked it, and he moved on. But I think this is huge, right? For a team still trying to develop and learn. They had a great third period, and they carried it with them to the NHL leading Carolina Hurricanes. Or I'm sorry, Eastern Conference. I think the Avs right now are in first place in the NHL, but Eastern Conference. Boo, yeah. There's a burp. I'm actually sucking down a Dr. Pepper right now because I haven't been drinking soda for a very long time. And
you're getting
my wife,
back on the wagon.
I asked my wife to surprise me, I think the other day, and get 10 mini cans of Dr. Pepper. And I've been drinking one every night, and I go to bed with the shakes. So I'm like, all right, this Dr. Pepper is going to get me through this episode.
Can I tell you, Matt, a quick beverage story before we get into more hockey stuff?
Mm-hmm.
You ever watch those videos of people reacting to magic tricks on the street? And you're like, these people are so dumb. It's just magic. I had a hot cocoa, one of those hot cocoa bomb balls, for Christmas that I never used. And last time I just started eating it because it was just a piece of chocolate. But this time I actually made hot cocoa. And I was like, there's instructions. What does this even mean? And it's like, get the water hot, but not boiling, and slowly pour it over the chocolate bomb. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to pour it slowly. And so I poured it slowly over the chocolate bomb. And as I did, it floated to the top. All the accoutrement ingredients slowly kind of undressed itself. And then the whole ball went inside out. What? And then all the chocolate went to the bottom, and all these marshmallows were hidden inside the ball the whole time. And I was like, whoa! I was blown away.
We've all
chocolate bomb hot cocos for the rest of my life. It's slow pouring hot water on.
We've been doing hot cocoa bombs for years, Mike. Where have you been?
I've been doing them wrong. I just boiled hot water as hot as I could, and I just melted the crap out of them. I didn't let the magic trick occur.
You've just been biting right into the middle of them, right? Like that old, remember the Wonder Ball when we were growing up? They had the Wonder Ball with like the little
I was laying right on the grenade, so I didn't enjoy the fireworks at all. So this was my first time really enjoying a hot cocoa bomb. This was awesome.
We have some good comments here I want to get to. Jared pointing out performance art sucking up to Matt.
Get him, Jared.
He does say, Eisman, I think this is for Mark Stahl, he's going to get Holland drunk and get him traded to Edmonton. I mean, right now, Holland, he made his comment, right? Like, I am not doing anything at the trade deadline. But he does like his aging defenseman. So we'll see. I don't know. Does he want two aging defensemen on the Ds? He could be able to carry them? Is there injury issues? I don't know. I'm sure he'd rather have a more affordable situation going on with Mark Stahl. But,
is this one of those times that you just wish the NHL was a little bit more like the NBA, and Draisaitl would just stop playing and he'd pre-Madonna himself onto the Red Wings?
Gosh. I don't know.
It's Draisaitl.
Yeah.
A Draisaitl trade with no Raymond, ridiculous, no Seider. I see you licking your lips over there, man. That's not from Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Those are Draisaitl lips. Those are Draisaitl lips over there.
Me and Chewy are in agreement. Dr. Pepper rocks from Chewy there. I think me and Chewy, we'd be good buddies if we were. I don't know where Chewy's at. I don't know where he hails from. Maybe he is from the Detroit area, but we'd be good buddies.
I think he's from the Millennium Falcon.
Joel Downs threw this in the comments a couple episodes ago, Mike, but it was after the live show. So I did want to.
You brought it back. How you doing, Joel?
I did want to throw it out there. So Joel, I'm glad you came along. Hey guys, just went to my first game at the LCA. Can we start a petition to bring the old goal horn back? Jared's actually he's got some research here. I read up on the old goal horn based on the size and dimensions of LCA. Would have sounded pitiful. Ooh. So maybe that's something to it.
I think what we want to do is take Jared's science and then Joel's the note that we're hitting with the old horn and try to find some way to kind of maximize that bad boy, bring it back. And then Joel kind of follows up, damn, missed that thing. Can't we improve the new sound? Improve the new one to sound like it. The new one is weak. I
got to give a shout out to, and I'll say that I'll come back to that. JM's dropping a chocolate bomb right now.
Dude, JM, slow pour it. It's so worth it, my man.
I mean, Joel, I'm all for it. If there's any way we can improve the goal horn, because it's something that, it doesn't quite get me excited anymore. The thing, I didn't even think about it, Joel, until you messaged us in the last episode that I don't even really think about the goal horn anymore, which shouldn't necessarily be the case. But I get excited by the fan reaction, and I've completely let the goal horn just poof. It just is out of my head. And I'm not defending the LCA with that. I'm saying that should not be the case. I should be craving that sound, and I don't even hear it. I mean, not to the point of like it's too weak, like from a decibel perspective. It's just white noise to me now. All right, where were we? Performance art. Let me know. I'm gonna get big and fat for my soda pop.
Performance art. Don't say that because I might actually stop drinking it.
Oh my God! Look at Chewy.
Hey,
Chewy.
That's kind of near where Matt lives, kind of.
The same area. All right, Chewy. We'll have to accidentally meet up.
Can you?
I'm not going to shout it out into the podcast, but he threw it into the YouTube comments. So anybody who wants to find out where Matt lives,
Jared Shaw, Jared dropping another one. Mantha basically went prima donna and stopped trying and got himself traded. Yeah.
Damn.
So Draisaitl, I mean, just look at the Mantha model, my man. Come on down. We'll take you.
All right, now back to the Carolina game. I did want to point this out because I got backlash in the Toronto game. I said, I'll take this 10-7 game over a 2-1 loss where our only goal is from a Carter Rowney accidental tip in. Now I'm like, it's 1-0 Carolina, and then Carter Rowney.
I thought the groundhog was a prognosticator. Look at Matt tooting his own horn here on the old Twitter machine. Look at him go.
Well, I wasn't right? Like I went out and I was like, oh no. I thought
for a moment you were right there.
I thought I punished us. I thought we were going to be in trouble, but the game did continue to go our way. So that was good. So we do want to hit some of the highlights here, but I guess, yeah, you're right. I am patting myself on the back. Why else would I
We know
that?
Man. It's your favorite thing to do.
All right, let me start deleting these tabs. I always keep all the tabs open, and then it just gets confusing by the end of the episode. But of course,
you never know when you're going to need a hockey reference for Thomas Hertl. So maybe his name will come up a little later, huh?
Uh-oh.
All right.
We got Mickey talking. Here's a little ditty, Mike. We just had Mickey talking in the background for a second there because, of course, we're stealing this from Bally. And we got a copyright claim on 2 episodes ago. Copyright claim was lifted. So I think I might be able to fight these. I'm going to start fighting them. I just assume I have to rip the episode off YouTube if we get a copyright claim. But they pulled it themselves. Said it wasn't an issue.
Hey, Matt, you know what? Sometimes I go to the butcher and I say, hey, butcher, tell me how that sausage is made.
All right. So everybody watching on YouTube gets this highlight of Carter Rowney.
If you're listening at home, you don't get any of this sweet, sweet highlight of Rowney deflecting the ever-living out of that puck into the net. Look at him go. Right at the nice heel part of the blade. Oh, it looks great.
So that's what I called it, a classic whoopsie from Rowney. Only because it looked like he wanted to do more. And Stahl here is the man who's on Rowney. He is checking Rowney. Rowney loses the puck, gets past Ranta into the net, right? It does. Like, look at the way he grabs the puck. I know I'm going in slow motion. It's always hard to figure out. This is why I called it a whoopsie. I think he's trying to maneuver the puck, and he's not trying to tip it in, but it accidentally gets past him. So, classic whoopsie-doodle.
Let Gretzky have his wraparound. I'm Rowney. I'm a simple man of simple tastes. Just give me a nice piece of bologna. Don't even fry it. Just a cold piece of bologna on some white bread, and I'll get you a goal. That's what that looked like to me. I wouldn't be so critical of him, man. But there's a goal. I hope. Did you save the Lucas Raymond goal?
Well, that's the only one we don't know, Mike. I have all
because I know you have your kids. You got to make time for your wonderful doctor wife. I don't know if you had the sound on, and I don't know if he does this every single time that Lucas Raymond scores. But when Lucas scored, Ken Daniels had one thing to say: everybody loves Raymond.
I guess we'll skip the Dylan Larkin goal. Jesus.
I just asked if you had it, Matt. Take so much offense out of your little...
You queued it up. Now I got to play it. All right.
Out of all your little copyrighted footage over here.
Be kind.
Now I know how Bailey feels.
I hit the wrong button. Give me a second, everybody.
Yeah, there's my highlight. Boom. Yeah, that's what Ken Daniels shouted. Everybody loves Raymond, and then everybody went and gave him some love. Not the Hurricanes, though. I don't understand that. But most of the Red Wings went and gave Lucas Raymond some love for that wonderful goal. Is there anything better, Matt, than a 4-on-3 power play in overtime?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, look,
are there
if we're gonna be
15
doing...
things, Matt? Give me 15 things better than a 4-on-3 power play in overtime. Okay, you don't have to do that, but
that first cup of coffee in the morning. No, I don't know. I'm not always the biggest fan of 4-on-3 in overtime. I feel like it builds a lot of pressure on your own team, on the home team, and I feel like it's like absolute doom. The game's over when our opponent gets a 4-on-3 in overtime. I mean, there are quite a few things that we want to highlight for this. We've got Larkin grabbing the puck. All right, now it's Seider, and now this is one of the things that I think a lot of people missed. But if you take a look at Seider's body, it looks like he's going to fire the puck back to Nedeljkovic, right?
Yeah.
This is the misdirection to get the puck down to Bertuzzi. If that isn't a Calder winning maneuver, if that's not a future Norris Trophy winning defenseman maneuver.
I know you're making a half jest with this analysis.
I'm not.
But no,
I'm not making a half jest at all
by saying he's aimed at Nedeljkovic, but it does look like he's
oh, yeah.
Like looking at Larkin. His whole body is pointed that way, and then somehow this puck finds its way into the right spot by Bertuzzi over there. And I don't think it's any accident. This guy is so good with playing angles. This is such a deliberate move by him and such an effective one. He just makes all these tiny little smart plays that I hope at the end of the year when they're tallying up votes for that Calder, man, stuff like this has to be considered.
Now you've got that, and then I think we want to see if we can get a replay. It's a little bit closer in here. Do we even have one? All right. Well, I've got one queued up elsewhere. I mean, I guess maybe we don't need to do it, but the hand-eye coordination, good gravy. I mean, I know this is one of those things. Like, I think this comes back to where Yzerman had always talked about, like, you got to learn to play the two-way game, because if you have the skill, you have the skill. And this is our sweet baby Ray, Lucas Raymond, batting this sucker out of midair. Toozy's getting his wax at it. And Lucas, on a bouncing puck, on one knee, slams that sucker home. I just don't want that to be missed. Like, it is one thing to get that gaping net on the rebound and have that look on the power play. And absolutely, we've seen the Red Wings screw that up this year. We have that poor Joe Veleno highlight we talked about a couple of weeks ago where Sam Gagner came in and was like, you'll get the next one. Like, that was a beautiful moment. But, Mike, this is one that, might have even been a tougher one to put away, and Lucas drills it. I mean,
I think if there's any kind of skepticism, Matt, if I could give an analogy, go in your house, go to the hardwood part of your floor, and bounce a nickel and hit it with the flat side of a quarter. Let me know how many times you can successfully put it in a hockey net, because that's what Lucas Raymond did with a puck and a stick. Nobody hits nickels with quarters like Lucas Raymond.
Yeah, so we've got sweet baby Ray hitting nickels with quarters. I do like everybody in the comments. We know what's up. Seider's great at fakes. JM threw that one out there. Jared throws out there. Guy has the no look pass down. He's like Matt Stafford out there. Performance art again. Seider
Super Bowl champion Matt Stafford. That's how he introduces himself.
He's almost he's almost the best defenseman in the NHL in his rookie season. Yep. I mean, that play, again, great finish by Lucas Raymond. You absolutely need the great finish. We had to give it time. It is key. Obviously, he put it in. But this play does not happen without Seider doing that fake, looking like he's going to give up on the power play, throw it back to Nedeljkovic for a 5-on-3, which I think is what Chewy was throwing out here. He said 5-on-3. So you got Nedeljkovic involved. He's pretty good with the stick. But no, and honestly, we might be able to tease Carolina on that too for taking the fake back to Nedeljkovic. But and you're right. I do, Jess. Clearly, he was trying to make it look like he was going back to Larkin. And gosh, no look. Not only like to make the play, but straight to Tyler. Just fantastic. All right. We skipped the Larkin goal, but you guys remember what happened. He stole the puck down low after Vladdy actually forced the play. Great start by Vladdy. Vladdy doesn't start the check. You don't give Dylan Larkin the opportunity to steal the puck down low and take it in, get a quick goal, and make it 3-3.
Right. And you know what, too, is like we mentioned, this was a really competitive game all the way through. So Carolina did not make tons of mistakes. So the one time they did make a mistake, this kind of felt like the Red Wings having a big boy moment and Larkin not letting them get away with that, and absolutely making them, get punished for any little blemish on the ice. And Matt here is pulling up the the point streak continues for Dylan, Matt.
He's punished a lot of teams over these 10 games.
18
you
points
make a
in 10
mistake
games now. Yeah.
Yeah, you make a mistake and Dylan's on the ice. I mean, that sucker's going in the back of the net.
You know what I want to say too to our listeners, and Matt, you do such a good job of painting the picture of how good Larkin has been. I had the unfortunate morning today where I forgot my phone at home, so I had to listen to the radio on the way to work, and a station that I'm not going to mention by name was talking about Larkin having an okay year, and that's such an undersell of what an all-around guy, all-around player he's been this season, Matt. And it just was such a dumb comment that nobody checked. Everybody just kind of verbally nodded in agreement with Larkin having a pretty good year. And I don't know if he's ever going to be like a top guy, but he's been pretty good for us this season. Matt, he's been outstanding. Especially as you've done a really great job of chronicling how his ascent up the statistical ladder here for goals and assists, not to mention all this defensive plays and leadership that he brings to this team. So I think if you hear any dumb comments like that again, absolutely fact check people, absolutely get in their face, because that is not the case. This guy's been excellent, Matt, excellent.
Yeah, no, I just keep throwing it out there as the MVP highlights just continue to roll in, because it's incredible to watch this year. That probably goes without saying, but think about the moments that Dylan Larkin has given us, like the OT goals, the game tying goal last night. Those kind of things just keep happening. It hasn't been routine. It hasn't been like, oh, I'm just going to get this bloop single in the third inning and nobody else is getting a hit, but hey, I'm batting 300 this year. It has been these major moments where Larkin has put the whole team on his back. And like I said, credit to Vladdy for starting that play and making sure the puck got in deep. But like, Dylan is finishing. He's finishing, like you said, he's punishing teams. He's not just finishing, he's punishing teams. It doesn't have to be always, this physical, you're punching a guy in the face to punish them. They make a mistake around Dylan Larkin, and he puts it in the back of the net. And that I know he is not getting Hart Trophy, first place votes.
No, if you're not a playoff team, if I'm voting, Matt, if by God we ever found a way for one of the two of us to get votes, he doesn't deserve a vote if you're not a playoff team. But it's just, he's been so excellent. He should be in that, really good player discussion.
It's that idea too, like if the Red Wings made two huge trades and Dylan keeps up with this level of intensity and sure-handedness as well, like I think that's key.
And JM too, Matt, throwing the comment in, really makes you wonder what Larkin would have to do to get the respect he deserves. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know he's back-to-back Conn Smythe winner, but when is he going to win 3 in a row? That's just not enough for me.
Well, maybe if that does happen. Chewy throws out there, this is so simple, but it's so true. That's why he's captain. I mean, part of that, you like Steve selects Dylan as captain. I think we are guilty at the time of saying, regardless of what you think of Dylan, it was a great PR move. Like that was, you picked the Waterford boy. Hell yeah. It's a great PR move, ladies and gentlemen. Also, absolute no-brainer in my opinion. But should we throw it out there? It's why he's the captain. I think, this is where that element of like, this is why it's a no-brainer that he will stay the captain, whatever direction this team goes. Dylan's your captain. Like nothing's going to change. And we never have to doubt that decision either. He makes it easy not to, which is key, I think, to that discussion of like, not going to win the Hart Trophy, but this Hart Trophy caliber production? No, effort. All right. Media can't talk crap on Stafford anymore, so now they're going to belittle Larkin. That's from our good friend Jared.
Jared, you did say his name wrong, though. It is Super Bowl champion Stafford anymore. So now they're going to belittle Larkin. Lest we forget.
I wish that didn't feel like we were throwing shade and we could all just share in the joy of Stafford winning. But what did I pull up? We had Dylan Larkin. Mike, we have another point streak to celebrate. Moritz Seider's on 7 games, 11 points in those 7 games. I saw some dip ass arguing that Bunting is going to win the Calder earlier today on Twitter, talking about how his points have increased over the season. All right, Mr. Dip ass. A defenseman on the Detroit Red Wings, one of the worst. His
points didn't just increase. He just got a couple extra Red Wing games, and we opened the floodgates. That doesn't count.
Doesn't count. You don't get to count Red Wings games. Moritz Seider doesn't get to face the Red Wings. That is a key asterisk in the Calder Trophy voting. But anyway, let's forget Michael Bunting, but let's talk about how great Seider's doing. I got to blow this up. But what was that? 11 points in 7 games. This is just, it's all fun, right? I mean, it's a beautiful one.
You know what? I can't harp on it enough either. You brought up that really great highlight of him doing the body fake, making it look like the pass on that power play was going in a totally different direction. So one of the things that I'm not a huge fan of, but I mean, it technically makes sense sometimes when you're, the orchestrator of a pinball goal where you shoot it from the blue line and somebody gets credit for it by hitting it off their stick into the net. Obviously that takes coordination. But Seider is not, like, based on that replay, those obviously that's not like a self-contained one-off. We've seen multiple instances of Seider doing things like that. So his assists for me, Matt, are real and impactful. They're the result of smart, heady plays that I think you can objectively say these are like real. I'm going to use the word real assists. Contributing to big moments for the Red Wings. And I might have to refresh here. Oh, I did lose Matt for a second, but I think he's back. But I just wanted to give Mo Seider credit for not just being on. He's not just on the stat sheet, Matt.
You're not even listening.
No, I'm not. I'm just talking right over you, Matt. He's not just on the stat sheet because a puck went off his stick into the net. He's making the play. He's orchestrating the play. I think that's the important word here is the orchestrating of the offense.
Yeah, and we talked about Stafford a couple of times. Mike, we might have the best quarterback in Detroit right now playing for the Red Wings. He's Mo Seider. They've been making jokes about him being a Detroit Piston, but I don't know the way he quarterbacks a power play. I might start that conversation. It's cute, right? Like they called him a power forward the other day, and I'm pretty sure he'd be dwarfed if he were in the huddle with the Detroit Pistons. But that was real cute when they said that. But no, legit. We want to talk about a Detroit position he could take over. Things that I see. Yeah. Put him at quarterback for the Detroit Lions. He knows what's up. He's got that fake down. All right. Where were we? We also got Lucas Raymond, Mike. He's not necessarily on a points. I mean, he is on a point streak. It's 2 games. But he's got 8 points in 7 games. Of course, the best production night against Toronto. Those 2 goals and an assist. Just good to see Lucas too, bringing it up. There was a tweet that I put out a little while ago. I wonder if I could just bring it up here so I can go over these numbers. But it was trying to dissect these 10-game spans for Lucas and Moritz Seider. So here we go. And I wanted to do this because you want to see where these guys are trending. So you take a chunk of games and then move it down. And you don't want to manipulate this. You don't want to say like, well, these, you don't want to change it into like 8 games because it'll look like it's going up. Let's do 10 games. We can all agree that 10 games is huge. It's a significant amount. But yeah, Lucas, through the first 10 games, 9 points. Next 10 points. Next 10, so he's at 30 games, 8 points. Then, Mike, going from 31 to 40 games, 5 points. Now 41 to 50 games, 7 points. So now that we're in this 50 games, so we're going from 51 to 60, he's right in the middle of it. He's played 4 of those games, 4 points. So he's on pace right now to have 4 points in those 4 games. He's on pace to get back up to his best 10-game stretch of the season. That's, to me, I'm dissecting this because I want to see if he's really taken like that rookie fall, and it looks like he did take it, and it looks like he's got a second wind because he kicked it up the next 10 games, and it looks like this 10 games is going to be even better than the last. So I think that's huge for his development. I think that's huge for anybody that does doubt this team to the extent that they're going to just ruin any player that they draft. Clearly, Lucas, he's having an up and down season. Also rookie. But yeah, this is a good. This is a good. I think it's a good statistic to keep an eye on for from a stamina perspective. What can he do? Already, and we know it's going to get better as he ages. But yeah, I think this is also just positive. This is he's trending back up, and these next 10 games will be fun to keep an eye on. For Seider, Mike, 8 points the first 10 games, then 5 points, then 7 points, back up, then back down to 5 points. Then, Mike, games 41 through 50, 9 points. Excuse me, there's a big burp. And then the last 4 games, he's got 6 points. So Seider now, as we're trying to dissect these at 10 games at a time, is on pace to have his best 10-game stretch of the season. Best of the season in games 51 through 60. Good effing gravy. This kid is exciting.
Yeah. I know we're so excited for like the Bergerins and the Edvinsons and Elmer Soderblom, the 6'8" unicorn out there.
He is coming next season. He's going to be in North America next season. I guarantee it.
Yeah, he's so fun to watch. And if you haven't, just look up 6'8" unicorn monster playing hockey on YouTube, and you'll find some great footage of him. So I'm so excited for those guys, right? But it's just nuts that Lucas and Mo are setting such a high bar for this. If you want to be a Red Wing rookie, I mean, that's what you got to compete with. So I don't know what to expect out of Elmer Soderblom, but good Lord, the bar is high, as Marty Morningweg used to say. But man, I hope that you're taking time to really watch these games because we're really getting spoiled right now by how good these guys are.
Sometimes I'm worried our Detroit sports references go 3 people deep, and it's me, you, and our dad. All right, Mike.
Let's talk about Matt. I want you to talk about this because I want you to spill a little tea here from our buddy Ansar.
I think we're eating some crow, Mike.
Oh no, I thought we were spilling tea.
We had an entire episode, Mike, our most watched show. It was actually a snack size episode or a fun size episode. We talked about how Vrana better not be on the third line, and well, here we are. Practicing finally. Vrana's getting some practice rounds in with your 3-person forward lines. How do you want to put that? Any hoozles. He's on the third line, trading out with Sadena, Rasmussen, Veleno, and Zadina. That's what they're throwing out during the game. That's who's getting most of the reps. And Ansar reporting that Vrana's rotating in for Zadina. least I hope that's what that means. It'd be really crazy if Vrana was subbing for Rasmussen, and that's how Anzar decided to put it in there. Also, throwing shade at Anzar because he blocked us, and I have to have my burner account track this. So screw you, Anzar Khan, douchebag. Anyways,
anyway, yeah, I was gonna say, I had a grilled cheese today, and I'm probably gonna have another can of soup. So no, I'm not planning on eating any crow because this doesn't tell me anything. This tells me this is practice time. We have 2 lines that are already rolling. No, don't hold your finger up. Not yet, Matt. So he's only rotating in for practice time. No, finger down. Put it in your nose, Matt, because this is not indicative of what's going to actually happen. There's no way this guy is going to be playing third line minutes. This is one of our most talented goal scorers on the whole team. He's going to be getting first line minutes as soon as he, gets his legs under him, gets his wind under him. The guy hasn't played hockey in months. So yeah, he might toil around on the third line because a tired, winded Vrana is already better than, our whole bottom 6. There, I said it. Go ahead, challenge me, Rasmussen.
Well, I want to point to the fact that he's rotating in for Zadina. Zadina's also off the first line after getting an opportunity, right? Let's see what he can do. Performance art throws out there. Apparently, the Wings are actively shopping Zadina. Not sure how I feel about that, Mike. Let's jump to our. Is this our last? No, we have a couple more slides after this. Now, Frank Ceravelli adds Filip Zadina to his trade targets list. Here's the scoop, Mike. I'm going to read straight from Frank. No shortage of excitement. Shortage of excitement around Zadina when the Red Wings select him at number 6. Yada, yada, yada. Teams perked up when Zadina spent 6 games on the top line from February 9th through the 26th, seeing it as a showcase opportunity ahead of a potential trade. Scored twice, 6 games, putting him back on track for 11 goals in 80 games. Zadina is a gifted shooter, but the knock on him is that he's become more of a perimeter player. Only a select few players, Mr. Alexander Ovechkin, Mike, if you've heard of him, or Steven Stamkos, can consistently score in today's NHL from the outside. Zadina was also a healthy scratch on January 4th. He throws out there, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Mike, here's the deal with Frank Ceravelli. When he was ruining the Seattle Kraken draft day, he knew every player that was being drafted from every team except for Steve Yzerman's team. Mike, this is... I'm going to say this. He does not have anything from Steve Yzerman. He has nothing. When you say ruined,
you're talking about like he revealed who's being drafted.
Oh, yes. If people don't remember, Frank Ceravelli revealed the entire Seattle draft the day of, hours before it even started. I'm pretty sure he put it out there at noon, and ESPN had Seattle's expansion draft at like 8:00 that night. Everybody knew who was going to get drafted from every team except for the Detroit Red Wings because Steve and his camp revealed nothing. So this either had to come from another team who's inquired about Filip Zadina, or he's just pulling out of his booty hole because Zadina got a few games on the first line. So he's making the same sort of like conjectures, some inferences that we make on this podcast. So he really has no news to report. It really is. It's like scuttlebutt. As I texted you. He's just kind of connecting some dots, I think, based on the first line. Now, is that insane? Is that crazy? No, I'm just saying we're pointing this out that Frank put him on his, going to be traded list. I don't know, top trade targets list. He's got it listed right there, but it's too small. I can't read it. Yeah, trade targets. There we go. He put him on his list, probably connecting some dots and also seeing the struggles. And also he's on Twitter, so he probably hears half of the Red Wings fan base begging for Zadina to get traded. So something to talk about. Also, I think my opinion on this, this being anything to take anything from, I mean, we could find out Zadina's getting traded in a second, Mike. Frank has nothing. He's clearly just connecting dots. If it happened, it would be the same sort of dot connecting we did. So take it with a grain of salt and see how salty it tastes.
Yeah, I don't want to crucify Frank too much. I think a lot of people would probably have
I'm not.
Zadina on this list
I'm not trying to
because
crucify. I'm just pointing out how scared. If you're
yeah,
a huge
don't take it as a
Zadina
personal
fan,
attack. I'm just saying I don't want to crucify him too much. I'm just saying with this list, I don't think it's necessarily rocket science that Zadina, being 22, hasn't really taken advantage of the chances he's gotten with the Red Wings. So yeah, he will be on a list of guys who are not unobtainable for other teams. And who had the comment they weren't sure about trading Sadena? Was that performance art?
oh, I'm sorry. What was your question?
The comment about being
performance art.
a little unsure of performance art. Yeah, I mean, I'm not dying to get rid of a 22-year-old guy who we're going to have easy club control, and he's going to have a very manageable contract because his arbitration number is going to be not super great because statistics are factored in, and as we all know, he hasn't quite finished like everybody would like him to goal wise. So I think just being hesitant to move him. I think it's just you're kind of concerned about like, well, what are we really going to be getting for him? Because it almost feels like the highest risk reward is seeing if he can pan out here rather than getting somebody else's attempt at a skilled former first round pick. And it's it's kind of the fear of the unknown because I don't know what he would really fetch. He would probably fetch somebody who's kind of in a similar situation where they've underperformed. You're not going to be getting somebody who's performed well unless the Red Wings are also giving up additional assets. So it's about if you want somebody else's underperforming highly touted prospect.
I do have to throw out there, Chewy. I see you in the comments, my man. We got to figure out a good Wings game. We'll do like Eternity Brewing or something. But hell yes. All right. I mean, really, Chewy. I absolutely. We got to make this happen. It would be fun too to just do. We got to do like a Red Wings rant watch party or something somewheres. Find like a nice central location. Mike, I'm going to skip a couple tables because we have some J Fresh tables we can save for another day because they go over a lot of information. Mike, you probably saw those in the notes and the slides. J Fresh released a new perk. If you guys are subscribers to J Fresh, which I highly recommend, it's just another great source to get some good information. You got to weigh that against some other analytics suppliers. I don't know. How do you put it? He's generating tables off of other people's analytics, but they are great ways to represent data. So to that end, Mike, we have some other tables we're going to talk about because we have 2 games coming up before our next episode, and holy mackerel, does it look like it's going to hurt. We just talked about in that Carolina game, we used the same exact table to figure out, do we have a win available to us against Carolina? If we won. But according to the table, we were supposed to get absolutely beat down. Now, Tampa Bay, Mike, has a very similar looking table to Carolina, only in the sense that they've got us beat in every statistic, every analytical category. 5-on-5 actual goals for, 5-on-5 expected goals for, Corsi, power play, finishing, everything with goals against, including actual and expected, and Corsi, and penalty killing, and goaltending, everything, Mike. They've got us beat top to bottom, just like Carolina. But, Mike, doesn't matter. Red Wings just beat Carolina 4-3. So, Mike, do the Detroit Red Wings come out and have a Toronto Maple Leafs first couple of periods? Or are we going to get what Prashant called the most complete Red Wings game he's ever seen? No, just this season. Mike, against Tampa Bay, what say vous?
Well, I do believe this is going to be a slightly different beast from the one that we saw on opening night.
And it's in Tampa.
Because not only is it on the road, last I checked, Isn't Mr. Nikita Kucherov playing hockey games again?
Right?
Yeah. That's it's a really good team there, Matt. They don't lose very many games. They score a lot of goals.
It hurts.
I mean, they've got size on defense. They've got skill on defense. They've got arguably the best goalie in the world. For us to have played as well as we did on that opening night at home, that was one of the, even though we lost, that was one of the most fun games I've ever been to. I will make the case. That was I think that was Bertuzzi had the 4 goals, and we were doing really well, and then somebody took a shot at Larkin in the back of the neck. Larkin reacted, got ejected, and that's kind of when the wheels came off, and we ended up eventually losing. So I got to think that cooler heads are going to prevail in this one. I do think the Red Wings want some revenge, but that's a lot of firepower. So they already had 7 goals without Kucherov playing, and now the Kuch is going to be back. I'm going to be buckled into this game from the first puck drop because I'm not picking a win, but I feel like this Red Wing team, I think they were mad, right? They were mad, so they came back in that third period against Toronto. They played really, really well. In that comeback game against Carolina, emotionally, effort-wise. If these last 4 periods are any indication of what we're going to get against Tampa Bay, it could be a close game. I can't predict a win because we're on the road, and Tampa is just so effing good. But man, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be really excited.
Zach Bogosian, the only listed injury right now for Tampa. Mike, also 17 games for Kucherov so far, 26 points. Woo! But yeah, I mean, this is one where if you picked Tampa to destroy the Red Wings, you couldn't blame that person. Of course, that's a totally real possibility because we're talking about a team that can throw out for their forward lines, Stamkos, Killorn, Braden Point, Palat. I mean, you guys are going to laugh, but even at the top of the rankings right now for Tampa's forwards, it's still Corey Perry. And then Nikita Kucherov has to get squeezed in there. And then, I mean, on the defensive side, like that is arguably why this team is where it is and has been. But I mean, Victor Hedman puts up numbers that are they're forward numbers. I mean, he's just that darn good. So yeah, this team is an absolute juggernaut. I'm not like, oh, what? Nobody's surprised by that comment. But there's something about the Wings getting up for these. I guess they didn't really get up for the Maple Leafs, but they woke up and they flipped the switch, Mike, as Jeff said was impossible to do. They flipped the switch on Toronto. I can see that happening again, but I think we're going to be ready for this game. I imagine a close game against Tampa, and I imagine at least a 2-goal deficit to our next opponent. Unfortunately, statistically, even better.
Yeah, don't feel as confident about this Florida game. Much more confident about being competitive because we know how we can get it up, so to speak. We know how to make a full load of laundry for Tampa, but for Florida, those going to be some dirty socks, let me tell you.
And it's not anything where if I looked at the playoffs, I would pick Florida to beat Tampa. I think it's just about looking at Florida and the way they're built and how the Red Wings play and how I kind of feel like Florida is perfectly built to lunch us. It's very top heavy. But then as you keep going down the list, like the punches don't stop and we don't have that ability. Now, Carter, fucking elite puck knock, tipper, Rowney. He can have his 2-game goal streak. But I mean, You arguably right now, looking at the Florida Panthers, have, well, you easily have three guys that you have four forwards that could be playing by the end of the season around a point per game pace. And then just underneath that, you have the Verhaeghes, the Anton Lundells, the Sam Bennetts, and the Mason Marchments. Oh my God. And even, gosh, last year he had a hell of a season. He's at a half a point per game pace right now, but even Patrick Hornquist, Mike, I mean, he's 13th on the list in points for the Florida Panthers right now. And this is one of those things where it's not about, can we compete with a first? I think our first line can compete with any first line. We've been saying that since the season started. Our second line has been doing great for a little bit. It's kind of taking a dip, right? And you talk about the Guelph Storm line, kind of taking a dip. But our third line, our fourth lines will not even come close to the production of Florida's third and fourth line. Mike, it's why DraftKings, our sponsor, which you guys can go in the details in the show and find a link to go set yourself up on DraftKings. Forgot to mention that at the top of the show. Mike, I put money down on the Panthers to win the cup because of, well, really, it was right in the middle of the offseason, and one of the moves that they made, I think, was the day I did it. But I just looked at that team and I was like, oh my God, they could roll 4 freaking lines. And they have been, and it's been successful. So, this is the team that scares me as a Detroit Red Wings fan. Again, I totally see them not winning the cup, even though I just said I bet on them. But it was a good bet. It's one of those things where, at the time when I bet on them, like they had a really good shot to win, and you'd make a lot of money. So that's how betting works. Don't just bet on the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the cup. You don't make that much money. Anyways, just trying to make sure you guys don't think I'm dumb. Final thought.
Thanks,
yeah,
man.
this will be a multi-goal deficit, is my opinion on this game.
It's going to be a blowout. Maybe like 5-2, 6-1, something like that.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be blowing all our laundry in Tampa. If we're going to win one of these two games, it's the Lightning game. I don't see the Florida game being especially competitive for our Red Wings.
Yeah, Jared, let's not forget, this is Friday and Saturday, Mike, but also not even what do I want to say? Not even 24 hours apart. You're playing game 2 at 6:00. So you've got, you're not getting back-to-back games. You're not getting 24 hours of rest.
Quick turnaround an away game against one of the best teams in the league. Yeah, I would be stunned if the Red Wings were to win that Panther game.
Oh yeah.
So I feel bad for whichever goalie's going to be in net that night. I imagine that's probably going to be the Grice night. Grice, God bless you. Might be a 9 spot that night.
All right. Well, I just found out that my daughter's been in and out of bed for quite a while, and I need to go take a turn at putting her to bed. We've been trying since 7:30, Mike. I texted you at 7:30 and said she's in bed. So I'm going to go try again. It's now 9:13. So, oh boy, this is going to be fun. But I got to give my wife some rest.
Man, so this episode lasted as long as Rey Mysterio in the Royal Rumble back in 2003. Or 4, 5, or 6, whatever. Who cares? What gives a shit? It was Rey Mysterio. Matt, it was an hour plus. I think we're okay. Matt, you can go see your little daughter and my little niece.
Oh, that is kind of cute when you say that. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. If you do have a second, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you are showing up new and you had some fun. But also, podcast listeners, I'm pointing at the camera. Podcast listeners, you can't see me pointing at the camera, but make sure you subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That does us the most good. But also, hey, you see our 2 sweatshirts? We upgraded our shop. Mike has the old dingy shop.
Don't look at mine. Look at that one.
The beautiful. Look at that red sweatshirt. You go to bodpodcast.com, brothersofdiscussion.com, and hit the shop button. We've got a ton of new stuff on there, including #SaveUsVerana t-shirt with the beautiful Vrana silhouette from his
Man, the deadline's
game.
coming up. What about the Yzerplan fleece?
Oh, that's right. That's from the old shop. I got to move the Yzerplan fleece over.
Yeah, get that one back. I love that one.
How
in time.
How about for every Yzerplan fleece, we'll give one away?
Oh, I like
hey,
that. Like
all right, that's my game plan for Friday. I'll put that in the shop. So yeah, you can't buy it yet, but let's do it. Every eyes are playing fleece. We'll have to take a vote to make sure it's a fleece, but let's go. All right, everybody.
Woo!
Have a good one.